I'm not against the media, the press, only against the fake news.
One person's fake news is another person's news.
It's fake, phony, fake.
This morning, President Trump again called fake news.
Fake news, outrageous and salacious.
Give us a chance. You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state...
Dismissal of the mainstream media as a kind of policy is very strategic. It makes their argument a matter of discussion. It creates the legitimacy of that argument as something that needs to be debated and assessed. And then it creates media self-doubt about how they're performing. Public trust in the media is really critical. A well-informed public making rational choices about matters of public interest, right? That's the promise and premise of democratic theory.
I don't trust mainstream media, and at times I don't even trust independent media.
It's good to have a free press, but what's good is a free press if they don't tell the truth? What good is a free press if they're adversarial based on some emotional idea that they have? When I was growing up, politics wasn't really a matter for discussion. My family was into John F. Kennedy. That was back when the Democrat Party was asked not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, and that whole attitude.
My parents have very religious views. For the most part, the things that I was fed were pretty conservative. As soon as I kind of had my own agency, I definitely became more of a left-leaning person. My main news source is the Pacifica Network, WBAI. I read the New York Times when I can, and I listen to NPR.
I use the internet, and I don't know if you'll like this, but I go on the Drudge Report.
We all are broadcasters now. We are all sort of news disseminators. And I think that it makes the distribution and dissemination of stories that are unchecked much easier.
It's exhausting to feel like you have to check 4 or 5 different sources just to confirm that a piece of news is in fact what you first heard reported. The average person who's not involved with journalism probably doesn't have time for that or the energy to really invest.
You have to follow the money, right? So I guess NBC, CBS, these are all big corporations. They get benefits from having good links with the government and getting their, somehow money's coming back to them. There's no doubt about that. The left wing is controlling the press.
Mainstream media is hijacked by corporate sponsors. So I rarely feel like the news is too left for me.
What the Republicans say and what the Democrats say and what the Republicans say. And that kind of back and forth has a real narrowing effect on what gets talked about.
I definitely trust the media more than I trust Trump. I trust the media over him when he makes claims about fake news.
The fact that they have excluded media organizations like the New York Times and CNN and others from press briefing is a really startling development.
Trump doesn't want to suppress the press and suppress broadcasting just because he doesn't let them into the news conference, in my opinion, is like no big deal whatsoever. And the only reason it's concerning them is because it hurts their pride. He's a master of using it. Why would he want to suppress it?
There's a kind of authoritarian bravado in this administration, and I think that one of their strategies is to create doubt about every institution that provides a check on their power.
I don't check mainstream news sources like MSNBC or CNN, mostly for my own mental health.
People who are sort of depend on their local little newspaper, and then they sort of turn on the nightly news and they get blood, right? They get celebrity. That feeds a kind of anxiety, right, about both the world they live in and a kind of distrust of the sources.
Press should stick to telling us who, what, when, where, and leave why for the opinion page.
I definitely think there's an attack on the press, and it's like the most aggressive form of attack I think I've ever seen on the media. A free press is a press that can report on anything without being afraid of persecution.
If you're writing a news story, you have the freedom to go to question anybody in the government about whatever question you want to ask them. That's free press.